Hello, and happy Thursday, everyone. It's a Thursday in Lontober. Anyway, I'm still bathing in the afterglow of my birthday celebration, which wasn't very public. I di- didn't have friends over and things like that this year, but I have all of you to wish me happy birthday, and hundreds of you did, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to talk a little bit today because of other things that is bringing all of this to mind. Is I'm going to talk about the magical diary and the importance of a magical diary. Now, this is a magical diary that was started back in the spring or late winter of 1982. And on the cover, you see the that I at least started the diary to sort of keep track of my activities as a 1 equals 10 in the AA. And so obviously the work I was doing as a 1 equals 10 was doing the work to establish and to grow into, expand into, climb up to, however you want to look at it, to the next degree, because that's the work you do in a present degree is the work toward the next degree. And you can see by this that it may have been very early in my kind of formal AA training, but it was already the 7th diary that I had been going through since I started Magical Diaries. In my mind, the importance of a magical diary isn't, although it's important and it's helpful to have you keep track of what's going on, it's important as an aid to memory. But I have to admit, at least from my point of view, and especially when you're writing a diary, to be judged by a magical mentor or a superior, you're not as truly forthcoming. You're writing, oh, this is for history. Oh, this is for my mentor or my teacher. She's going to write notes in it. I have to submit it to her. And that's always on the back of your mind. And does that mean it's worthless? No. You're writing it for yourself, okay? And even if you're being not altogether truthful and forthcoming, well, you're trying to be truthful, okay? You are being truthful, but you're putting it politely. You're not really bearing your soul. You're just sort of going topless, okay? But you're really doing it. You're writing the diary for yourself to read 20 years later, 30 years later, 40 years later. Then it becomes helpful. Then you start to put all sorts of puzzle pieces together that represent the foundation of where you are right now, to explain the you by looking at the you that you once were. In retrospect, you correct all of those little things you used to make it look a little bit better, a little more cleaner, a little more noble. You cut through that crap when you're reading it. At first, you're embarrassed. You go, "Oh God, no! You're pretentious," and you. But after a while, you go, you don't mind that at all. You like that. You like that stuff. You like the stuff that you're embarrassed because you've grown to the point of where you can put that in perspective. And then you realize that there is really no time. What I'm going to kind of share with you from April and May of 1982. It's not 1982, it's right now. It's right now. It's the you right now. And it becomes magical. You can hear the voice of your holy guardian angel speaking from your own lips in your own misspelled words. So even though you think it might be useless to keep a magical diary, even if you don't believe you have a magical superior or a formal teacher or a mentor to judge this magical diary, remember that you're doing it for yourself. You are your own magical superior. You are your own mentor. You're writing this for you. 1982, as I recall, because like everybody, I tend to put unpleasant circumstances and events to a little corner of my brain where I'm not upset about it. And 1982 was a very difficult year on all aspects of my life. I was very heavy, not heavy, I was very heavy as a big man in those days. So much so that I more or less, my back was coming out of shape, and I had a terrible back pain. I could only walk for a few steps at a time. I had been, during this period, I'd been laid off of work, lost my job, and even my magical career was undergoing a crisis. I was having trouble with my magical superior. And other individuals that were making the organizations I was involved in, and which were my spiritual life, were being undergoing very serious troubles. It's sort of like a family falling apart, and there was treachery and betrayal and all sorts of stuff going on. It was a very traumatic time, and I had lost. I was in the position of not being able to work, at least for a couple of months. And I was going through all of this traumatic other things in my life, and I thought, what I need here, this is my neophyte. This is my probationer. This is my neophyte ordeal. Okay. I need a magical retirement, and I can't go anywhere. I need a magical retirement at home. And we had just assumed we lived in sort of a duplex with the landlord on one side, and the landlord said, "Hey, do you want my side too?" And there was one great big beautiful room that you get 50 people to do mass and stuff like that. So I put out a feeler with our lodge members, and we got pledges so we could pay the extra rent to expand the lodge. And I was teaching magic and all of that because we'd been a lodge since 1978. And so I said, I'm going to do a magical retirement here at home. I'm going to set up a temple out there right there in the other side of the house, a full 24-hour-a-day temple. I'm going to set up an altar. I'm going to do a 49-day magical retirement. I'm going to then I shaved my head, or constant shave my head, and that magical retirement is in this book. And I'm not going to share the whole thing with you but anyway, I did a lot of drawings and things like this. Then I, the priest, beheld a steady glitter in the heart of the pearl, so bright we could not look. But behold, a blood-red rose upon a rood of glowing gold. And what I did, I had a beautiful, beautiful altar top. Let's see if I can find. I had a beautiful altar top that had this 49-petaled rose in it. I carved it into a large block of wood. It had, of course, the Greek cross on the back of it. I gouged out every one of those petals and colored it, and it was. I had an altar top. I had a 49-petaled altar top, and that was the centerpiece of my private temple. So I shaved my head. Here's in my diary, it says, the prologue to Metamorphose. That's sort of what I call the operation. I wanted to metamorphosize myself into the next grade. And here's my corny poem from March 24th, 1982. For 49 days and 49 nights, I'll practice the art of dying. For 49 days and 49 nights, I swear to keep on trying. I pledge my pen. I pledge my tongue. I pledge the truth in telling. I'll slay all things I thought were I. But please ignore the spelling. PDA 1 equals 10. Now, PDA was the initials of my magical motto, is 1 equals 10, which is Pureté de l'aspiration. Pureté de l'aspiration. Purity of aspiration. That was my motto for that. My will drives me to change. I feel my old shells dying. Change is coming. I'm a worm just before I become a butterfly. For this change, I must retire. But my holy duties prevent this. I must take my holy magical retirement in the midst of activity. I will establish a livable schedule of discipline and adhere strictly to them for the specified period. I will continue all activities, but I will in some way set myself apart from mundane life in some way, if only symbolically. Well, shave my head and beard. I set it up like this. Metamorphosis 49. Oh, I was doing everything in French. Pompous ass. And there's my next page. Okay. The program was this: 7 weeks. 7:30 a.m. up, yoga and pranayama. And the pranayama was, for 2 weeks, I do 2 of my pranayama cycles, and I detail those. I was pretty good at pranayama for a fat guy. Then 2 weeks of 5 cycles. Then 3 weeks of 7 cycles. Now, I don't know if you've done pranayama, but pranayama gets you stoned. It gets you high. It does all sorts of things to you. I mean, it's like dope. It's really cool. Okay. Diet. I take a vow of dietary obedience to Constance. Fast liquids, Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Okay, now, I don't know if I can find it here, but before it was all over, I had fasted for 15 days, and I'd lost 13 pounds. 5-mile walks with a brace. I had to wear a back brace 3 times a week. Opus neuf, or working 9, as spontaneity dictates, and that's OTO type work that I was personal work I was working on. Study of Class D documents, reading from Libers 7 and 65, and Liber Het, and the 9th degree papers. That's OTO 9th degree papers. Evening visualization and rising on the plains, and the completion of my AA paperwork. So that was the thing. Now, at the beginning of each week, I would sort of head it up there with a little section from Crowley's Aha. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 and 1 and 1 and 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will, corpse rigid, thus thou mayest abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. So I'm starting off with the sort of yogic pranayama disciplines. So pranayama until further notice, and I think that's a week. Left nostril, 10 seconds in, 10 seconds hold, 10 seconds out. Right nostril, 10 seconds in, 10 seconds hold, 10 seconds out. Okay, the altar top. Altar of the 9-petaled rose, Rose Qua, from our chapter Rose Qua. I was chartered chapter Rose Qua, OTO. I have placed a flat bloodstone representing me on the outermost petal. I shall move it each day. So each day I'd take I'd mark it up. So it'd go around 7 times for 1 week, and then down to the next level, 7 times. Here's just one example here. March 24th, 6 p.m. As a seal upon my magical retirement, I have shaved my beard and head. As my appearance returns to normal, may I be spiritually and physically metamorphosized. If that's a word, I said. 10 p.m., lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram. Next morning, 2:17 a.m., first new moon of the year. Moon in, this, I sort of set them all with the sun and moon are in and things like that. 7:30 a.m. up, coffee, yoga, pranayama, 3 cycles, 5 minutes, readings from Liber Het, and I read the first chapter of Liber 7. 11 a.m. retirement temple constructed. Lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and Liber 5. We just got through talking about Liber 5. Altar of rose cross with a 49-petaled rose, polished bloodstone upon the outermost petal. I'll move it along as the days and weeks pass. 12:30, yoga, 3 cycles. 2 p.m. shower, skyclad, banishing, and meditation. 5 p.m. yoga, 3 cycles. Okay, there's tons of just routine stuff like that. Okay. And then things get a little more interesting. As a matter of fact, for a retirement, a magical retirement could be described as being as a voluntary process whereby you gradually and on purpose become a little more mad. You become crazy. You have an extended nervous breakdown in a sociably, hopefully, a sociably acceptable way. Now, that's all. I'm going to do a little, I'll probably do tomorrow a little bit more because I want to share with you a couple of the highlights and the lowlights of what I would eventually call a Pentecostal magical operation. And of course, as we'll know, I'm doing the whole thing not only for the purpose of my own advancement, I guess, my own next step in my own awakening, but always with the eye toward, hey, I'm doing this for you, Angel. Anyway, so I hope you found that interesting. Do I have anything? Oh, there's tons of cool. I was drawing stuff all over the place. I guess this was the next week or one of those. But anyway, there was Goetia involved, and there was a lot of Enochian stuff involved, and maybe I'll share more of that, of how I went progressively crazy in 50 days. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will. Stay cool, everyone.